Today we're digging into one of the greatest mysteries in Halo history and unraveling the hidden musical secret of the control room in Halo 3 to find out how it was meant to be solved by the developers in 2007. Let's get into it. Easter eggs are a fun and interesting part of Halo. They provide a treasure hunt with the promise of interesting rewards. One of the more popular Easter egg hunts in Halo history is the skulls, which, when found and picked up, alter the gameplay in some way, either by changing the physics, or adding a celebration when killing a grunt with headshots, or by making rare dialogue more likely to occur, among other effects. In fact, that last one is known as the IWHBYD skull, which is an acronym of the first part of Sergeant Johnson and Stacker's dialogue, "I would have been your daddy, but the dog beat me over the fence," that triggers when the player stares long enough at the NPC. The skull has appeared in every Halo game since Halo 3, and its original location in Halo 3 was shrouded in mystery, only revealed to the most clever and skilled player. Unfortunately, the mystique was squandered mere days after release in 2007, when the location was found in the source code of the game, much to the disappointment of the developers who had placed it, including Marty O'Donnell, who in September of 2020 has put out a proposition to the Halo community to explain how the skull would have been found without cheating, just on the hints the game gives alone. So let's go over what has already been discovered. The solution was found in the mission The Ark, the 7th mission in Halo 3, 7 being a significant number in the Bungie ecosystem. The Chief is to fight into the Citadel where the Prophet of Truth was preparing to light the Halo rings, allied by the Flood, and allow the Arbiter to slay the Prophet, leading to the Gravemind's betrayal of the Brief Alliance. Your objective is to then fight through the waves of Flood attempting to halt your exit. Any time after coming out of the cutscene featuring Truth's assassination, the puzzle is ready to be solved, regardless of whether the Flood has been cleared out. To backtrack for a moment, something players may have noticed over the years when playing this part of the level is that the control room within the Citadel has 7 holograms of Halo rings, representing the array, starting closest to the control panel with Installation 01, and ending at the back of the room where you start that section of the mission with Installation 07, Zeta Halo. Something many players have also noticed is that there is a hum emitted by each ring, at a different pitch depending on which hologram you're standing near. If you sit down with a musical instrument, you'll find that each hum is a musical pitch. The lowest of these pitches is at the ring at the back of the room, Installation 07, a B. Installation 06 emits a C sharp, 05 a D, 04 an E, etc. Spelled out, these notes make up a B natural minor scale, otherwise known as the Aeolian mode. B Aeolian is the 5th mode of E Dorian, which is the mode of the original Halo theme and much of Halo's music. So really, it should be thought of that the rings make up an E Dorian minor scale starting on B. The solution, it was found, was to jump through the rings in a particular pattern of 7 that corresponded to the final 7 notes of the Halo theme. There's another important aspect about these holograms that should be noted before I make my ultimate point. When the player jumps through the rings, they light up. Because of Marty's all-call, a few new videos trying to explain the solution have been released in the community, to which Mr. O'Donnell has responded. Now, according to Marty, all the puzzle pieces have been identified, but there's still a missing detail and a more elegant way to explain the solution. In chatting with my girlfriend about this mystery, she took it upon herself to try her hand at the solution, watching the cutscenes and listening closely. The key, we think, is in the dialogue. Let's investigate. As Chief and the Arbiter run through the vestibule into the control room, Truth's broadcast plays on the screens. He tells his fanatical followers, "In a moment, I will light the rings.
In a moment I will light the rings, and all who believe shall be saved."
Standard terminology when referring to the activation of the Halo array, but a key part of this puzzle. Let us continue. Since Forerunner artifacts can only be interfaced with by a human, the Prophet's guards have captured Sergeant Johnson, who, again, originally uttered the dialogue that inspired the name of the prized modifier skull. The plan is to use Johnson to depress the fatal activation switch. Following a sarcastic quip by Johnson, Truth's response is another hint.
"What's the matter, big shot? Can't start your own party?"
I admit, I need your help. But that secret dies with all the rest.
He is literally requesting help from the player, a need which is a secret, just like the skull. This is your first clue, but there's more. In case one had not already noticed the hum of the rings, a point is made to have the camera sweep through the room past the rings to Chief and the Arbiter's location at the back. The camera could have simply cut to the back of the room, but they made the choice to have the camera sweep through the room. This reveals something very important. If you hadn't previously noticed, as the camera passes the holograms, each ring very clearly hums, the scale quickly descending. To the keen of ear, the passing pitches are not related to the musical track playing underneath, something that may have eluded first-time players. By the way, if you wanted to read into things, you could say that Gravemind's dialogue urging Chief to listen could also be considered a hint.
Do not shoot, but listen. Let me lead you safely to our foe.
After this cutscene ends, the player fights to the control panel and Truth's location, discovering that the Prophet has been assaulted by the Flood and is slowly being overtaken by the Parasite. Immediately following his assassination at the Sword of the Arbiter, the strings descend to an E pedal, and a melody plays.
Silenced.
These are the last 7 notes of the Halo theme. Remember what I said about the pattern to unlock the skull? It is these same notes that you have to match when jumping through the rings to unlock it. One more, and I think the most important, clue. Following the death of Truth and shutting down of the rings, causing them to go dark, by the way, the Gravemind turns on our heroes once again, now safe from being obliterated by the activation of the array. His dialogue is the answer.
Now the gate has been unlatched, headstones pushed aside, corpses shift and offer room. Of fate you must abide.
The gate to the skull has been unlatched, and headstones, which conceal the bones of the dead, have been pushed aside and are out of the way. It's at this point when the ability to enter the pattern and unlock the skull is now available. You may now play that last phrase in the rings, and when the pattern is finished, they light up and flash dramatically, and the skull spawns at the front of the room. The order of the rings is also very clever. The 4th ring, the one that starts the pattern, represents Installation 04, the ring from the first game. That hologram also hums an E, which is the tonic of the melody you have to play. Further, no matter which way you approach the rings, the 4th is always in the middle, and if the lowest pitch was E, you couldn't play the phrase because it goes down to D before ending on E, hence the importance of starting on B. Very clever indeed. And with that, that's all I've got. I hope we've worked out Marty's elegant solution. Marty, if you're listening, please let me know. Full credit goes to my girlfriend Zacarra, who also produced my arrangement of Walk in the Woods, which I use for my intros and outros. Her socials are linked in the descriptions of my videos. This is such an engaging mystery and a collaborative effort on the part of the writers, level designers, sound design team, and of course the composer, Martin O'Donnell. I found it really incredible. Again, hopefully this was the explanation Marty was looking for. If you liked this video, I encourage you to check out my channel where I talk in depth about Halo music, with more content in the pipeline all the time, however long it may sometimes take. I want to thank you all for watching. Your support means everything. Until the next one, I'm Noah, and this is Traveling Halo.